السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الدرس التاسع, lesson number 9. So just before we start going through this lesson, I'm just going to break it down. See this lesson, it has a long dialogue in the beginning. It's 2 slides, inshallah. So I'm going to basically briefly now tell you the things that we're going to cover in this lesson, inshallah ta'ala, before I read the text. Then when I read the text, after I've read both slides, the conversation, inshallah, I'll then go through the exercises. As I go through the exercises of this lesson, I'll explain to you the rules and the new concepts that we're learning and how to use these different features of the language, inshallah ta'ala. But just a point out, this lesson is quite a lot. It's a bit longer than the previous lessons, as there's a few things to discuss, inshallah. We're going to have what we've referred to as fi'l ta'ajjubi. This is the verb of amazement, ta'ajjub, when something surprises you. Either it's when you're feeling the greatness or something, like something being so good and beautiful, or something being disgusting. Okay, we use it in both ways, to show amazement in happiness or the like utter disgust. So this is how we use fi'l ta'ajjub, and the pattern is yani ma af'ala, and we're going to come and see it inshallah ta'ala throughout the lesson. Also we're going to learn, remember in Medina book 1 we learned Ya Muhammadu, when you're saying ya to someone who is singular, okay, just one person, and a singular noun. But then we also learn Ya Abdallahi. What happens when we say ya and the thing that what I'm calling to is mudaf ilay, is a possessive construction. There's a slight change, so we also emphasize that. As you hear me say Ya Muhammadu, Ya Abdallahi with fatha, Ya Sa'iq as-sayyara, oh you who's driving the car, like this. There's slight differences inshallah ta'ala that I will mention. Also, we revisit Jam' al-Mu'annath al-Salim, the sound feminine plural, and what happens to it when it's supposed to take fatha, because it doesn't take fatha, it takes the equivalent. So we'll discuss that also. We also discuss the khul al-hamzat al-istifham al-muhalla bi-al. When a noun that has alif and lam, the hamza of question comes before it. What happens to that noun? We also discuss that inshallah. And then we also discuss the dama'ir al-nasb al-muttasila, the attached pronouns when they're in a situation where they're like the object of a verb, nasb, yani this is when it's meant to take fatha and its equivalents, as we'll come to see inshallah. Also, we'll discuss deleting the alif from ma, that is for asking questions, when it's attached to other prepositions, like amma yatasa'alun. We'll say amma yatasa'alun, mimma khuliq, like this. We'll discuss this also inshallah ta'ala. We'll also revisit asma' al-mawsula. Asma' al-mawsula, which is the connecting nouns. Connecting nouns are alladhi, allati, alladhina, allati. We'll discuss these again and revisit these again inshallah ta'ala. We briefly discussed them in Medina book 1, but they'll be revisited within this lesson inshallah ta'ala. So that's all the concepts that we're going to discuss within lesson 9, and I'll highlight them to you within the tamareen, the exercises, the drills that you'll be practicing inshallah. But as I mentioned, I don't translate these conversations for you guys because I really want you to put in effort in making sure you understand. How does one do that? You find out what these words mean. Use your vocab banks. You translate the dialogues yourself. You can send them to me if you want me to check them over for you. And you make sure you know what these words mean. And then whilst you know what these words mean, you depend on the constructions you have learnt of how to use these words and put them in sentences grammatically correct. Then you'll be able to translate and understand these dialogues with ease, inshallah ta'ala. And as I always emphasize, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, and I will get in contact with you as soon as possible. But inshallah ta'ala, now we're going to start reading from here. So it says, دخل المدرس الفصل ووجد فيه 15 طالبا فقط، فقال لهم أين الطلاب الجدد ال5 الذين جاءوا أمس؟ قال عبد الله حضروا اليوم وخرجوا قبل قليل، أظن أنهم ذهبوا إلى المدير. رجع الطلاب ال5 بعد قليل، فقال لهم المدرس أإلى المدير ذهبتم يا أبنائي؟ قالوا نعم ذهبنا إليه لأننا ما وجدنا أسماءنا في القائمة. جلس المدرس وقال أقرأتم درس الأمس يا أبنائي؟ قال الطلاب: نعم قرأناه وكتبناه وحفظناه. قال المدرس: أفهمتموه؟ قالوا: نعم فهمناه جيدا. ما أسهل هذا الدرس؟ قال عبد الرحمن: أنا ما فهمت فيه 3 كلمات. قال المدرس: ما هي؟ قال عبد الرحمن: قرأنا في الدرس هذه الجملة: عاد جدي من الخرطوم. فما معنى هذه الكلمات ال3؟ قال المدرس: عاد معناها رجع، والجد معناها أبو الأب أو أبو الأم، والخرطوم عاصمة السودان. أفهمت؟ قال عبد الرحمن: الآن فهمت. Now I'm here. ثم فتح المدرس كتابه وقرأ درسا جديدا: خلق الله الشمس والقمر والنجوم والأرض والبحار وخلق كل شيء وخلق الإنسان من طين. ثم قام وكتب هذا الدرس على السبورة. رفع محمد يده وقال: ما معنى الطين يا أستاذ؟ قال المدرس: الطين معناه التراب المختلط بالماء. ورفع فيصل يده فقال له المدرس: أعندك سؤال يا فيصل؟ قال فيصل: نعم عندي سؤال. البحار جمع البحر. قال المدرس: نعم هو كذلك. قام الحسن وقال: ما جمع السماء يا أستاذ؟ قال المدرس: جمعها سماوات. ثم سأل المدرس الطلاب عدة أسئلة. المدرس: من خلقك يا إبراهيم؟ إبراهيم: خلقني الله. المدرس: ومن خلقكم يا أبنائي؟ خلقنا الله. المدرس: ومن خلقني يا عباس؟ خلقك الله. خلقك الله. وقال المدرس: ومن خلق الشمس يا عبد الله؟ خلقها الله. So again, this is the first half of the dialogue, inshallah ta'ala. And briefly, let me just quickly highlight some of the points that we are going to be discussing within this lesson, inshallah ta'ala. So of the things that I mentioned is this concept: ما أسهل هذا الدرس. This is the فعل التعجب. فعل التعجب, okay? That expression of how great or beautiful something is versus how ugly something is. Also, we talk about all of these sentences from here downwards, okay? That's going to be the pronoun that is in the state where it's an object of the verb. A pronoun in the state where it's the object of the verb. Also, al-biharu here. You see, where's the hamza al-istifham? This is what we're going to study. It's been merged with the alif of alif and lam. And that's why it's still a question. Al-biharu. So he's asking, is al-bihar jam'ul bahr? Like this, okay? Just of the things that we will discuss. Now, so inshallah ta'ala, we'll see everything else throughout the rest of the dialogue and the exercise and drills to be done, inshallah. So now I'll read the next slides of the rest of the dialogue. So reading from here: المدرس: ومن خلق القمر يا عبد الرحمن؟ خلقه الله. ومن خلق النجوم يا أحمد؟ خلقها الله. يا أستاذ عندي سؤال ليست له علاقة بالدرس. المدرس: ما هو؟ قرأت في كتاب أن النجوم أبعد من الشمس، أصحيح هذا؟ قال المدرس: نعم هذا صحيح، هذا صحيح. مما خلق الله الإنسان يا عثمان؟ خلق الله الإنسان من طين. أحسنت يا عثمان. ومما خلق الله الجان يا أبا بكر؟ خلق الله الجان من نار. المدرس: كيف عرفت ذلك يا أبا بكر؟ عرفت ذلك من القرآن الكريم، فجاء في سورة الأعراف أن إبليس قال لله: أنا خير منه، خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. المدرس: أحسنت يا أبا بكر. كم سماء خلق الله يا عبد الله؟ خلق الله 7 سماوات. وفي كم يوم خلق الله السماوات والأرض يا عبد الرحمن؟ خلق الله السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام. هذا صحيح. قال الله تعالى في كثير من الآيات إنه خلق 7 سماوات، فقال في سورة الطلاق: الله الذي خلق 7 سماوات. وكذلك قال في كثير من الآيات إنه خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام، فقال في سورة الحديد: هو الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام. في هذه اللحظة رن الجرس وخرج المدرس من الفصل. جميل. So again, some of the things that we're going to discuss inshallah ta'ala is where it says خلق الله السماوات. السماوات, because it's the sound feminine plural, it doesn't take fatha, it takes kasra instead, and that's why we see والأرض with fatha. So we will discuss that also insha'Allah ta'ala. So now we'll go through the exercises inshallah, and we will highlight these rules and these different features of the Arabic language that only make our use of the Arabic language so much beautiful and so much more better inshallah ta'ala. And we're able to produce language when we understand these concepts and put all the words that we know together. Also, Ya Aba Bakr, that's just another example of highlighting that rule insha'Allah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan. Let's go to the exercises. So the first exercise here says Ajib an al-as'ilat al-atiya. Answer the following questions. These are comprehension questions based on the dialogues, the previous slides of the dialogue. So you go back to them and you answer these questions. And you have 10 questions. Then we have here this ayah. It says Ana khayrun min khalaqatani min narin wa khalaqatahu min tin. Answer these questions. Man qala hadha, who said this? Li wal iman, and to whom? And min ayyi suratin hadhihi al-ayah, and from what surah is this ayah? Okay. Then we have number 3. ضع هذه العلامة صحيح أمام الجملة الصحيحة، وهذه العلامة خطأ أمام الجمل غير صحيحة. Okay. أو غير صحيحة. So الطلاب الجدد 15. Is this correct? You look at the dialogue also, and you're going to tick whether that's correct. You only got 4 questions to do that for. It says ما معنى الكلمات الآتية. What is the meaning of the following words? So again, these words were explained during the dialogue, so you need to go back to those 2 slides and look for the explanations of these words. And this is how we start to learn the meaning of words in the Arabic language. So when you're eventually, I'm going to teach you how to use a dictionary anyway. I'll make a video of how to use a dictionary, Arabic to English, and then later I'll teach you how to use an Arabic to Arabic dictionary inshallah. That's what this is working towards. He says اقرأ المثال ثم أكمل ما يلي على غراره. Read what follows and then complete the following on the same pattern. عاصمة السودان الخرطوم. The capital of Sudan is Khartoum. So you're going to have to find out the عاصمة العراق وعاصمة المملكة العربية السعودية ومملكة اليمن وعاصمة اليمن وعاصمة مصر. And then you're going to write them like this, following the same pattern inshallah ta'ala. Then we have number 6. اقرأ الأمثلة ثم اكتب الجملة الآتية مستعملا فعل التعجب. So it says هذا الرجل طويل. ما أطول هذا الرجل. هذا البيت كبير. ما أكبر هذا البيت. هذه السيارة جميلة. ما أجمل هذه السيارة. You see the difference? This is to show you're amazed at something, that something is really pleasing to you, and we also use it to show that something is really disgusts us. Okay, so this is how the pattern is. ما أفعل, and the thing that comes after it is also mansub. It also takes fatha. ما أطول هذا الرجل. هذا doesn't ever change, but it doesn't stop the ruling affecting the noun that comes after it. Okay, so we say في هذا البيت. It's still bait is going to take kasra because of the fi. Okay, so especially if it's used as a noun phrase, because the hadha is definite, ar-rajulu is definite, ar-rajula is definite, so it's a noun phrase. The rule is the same. So ma atwala hadha ar-rajula. Okay, how tall is this man? Look how tall he is. Basically, it's a statement of amazement. Okay, ما أكبر هذا البيت. How big this house is. Look how big this house is. ما أجمل هذه السيارة. Look how beautiful this car is. You see, I'm amazed. It's amazing. This is how we use it. Now you have the following sentences, and it will continue inshallah for you to practice. هذا الماء بارد. It should say بارد. Mistake. It should say بارد, not بادر. بارد. Okay. هذا الماء بارد. Okay. النجوم جميلة. So you're going to use the فعل تعجب, the verb of amazement, like this, and make the sentences following this pattern here, inshallah ta'ala. And we'll go to the next exercises. Again, so you got 10 sentences to practice that usage. Okay, some of them are for things that are pleasing, good, and some things are like not nice, disgusting. As we can see, awsakh, really dirty. Yeah. So then we have number 7. تأمل الأمثلة ثم اقرأ الكلمات الآتية واكتبها مع ضبط أواخرها. So read the following examples and then read the words, the following words, and write them with the correct endings, i.e. the correct vowel sounds. Muhammadun ya Muhammadu, Hamidun ya Hamidu. Mistake, it should be one dhamma. Ustadun ya Ustadu, Ukhtu Hamidin, ya Ukhta Hamidin, Abdullahi ya Abdallahi. So as I mentioned to you before, when it's mudaf ilayh, the mudaf, when you're using ya, it takes fatha. When you're not using it, it's just a singular noun like Muhammad, a singular name, it just takes one dhamma. Okay, so now looking at that, these ones are all singular. Number 1, row 1. Number 2, these are all from idafa. So the mudaf, which is ukhta and abda, they take fatha when they come after ya, and then it's kasra, the normal mudaf ilay ruling. So then look at these. You have to write these out applying this rule. Okay, what's the final word going to be? And this is a marker to show that this is a separate example. So you're going to apply these rules to the following words here. Then we have تأمل الأمثلة ثم عين فيما يلي جمع مؤنث السالم مضبط آخره أو آخره آخره. Read the following examples and then highlight عين فيما يلي, in what follows, the sound feminine plural, and write the ending of it correctly. So رأيت سيارة, I saw a car. رأيت سيارات. It doesn't take fatha, it takes kasra instead, because the sound feminine plural cannot take fatha. سألت المديرة الطالبة. سألت المديرة الطالبات. Okay. قرأت المجلة. قرأت المجلات. Again, so now you're going to highlight in these 12 sentences the sound feminine plural and mark the vowel sound, the correct vowel sound of each one, inshallah ta'ala. Then we have number 9. تأمل المثال ثم أدخل حمزة الاستفهام على الجمل الآتية. Look at the example and then enter the hamza of questioning, like أهذا, like we learned in Medina book 1, lesson 1. Okay, the that means is, are, or do. Okay, so biharu, al-biharu is jam'ul bahri. Al-biharu is the plural of bahr. Al-biharu jam'ul bahri. So this is how we're going to make it a question now. This is taken from the actual dialogue, this example. Now this becomes al-biharu jam'ul bahri. So when I have hamza of istifham plus al of the definite, yeah, to make something definite, which means it becomes al. I extend it. I merge the two alifs together and I have al. So al-ana kharajta. That's now you left. Now we want to say, did you leave just now? Al-ana, like this. Al-ana. Okay, so that's the first one I've done for you, and you're going to apply this to the rest of the sentences. Then we have here number 10. تأمل المثال ثم أجب الأسئلة الآتية على غراره. So look at the example and then answer the following questions, which is on the next slide, following the same pattern. So من خلقك, who created you? So now we're using the pronoun as an object, okay, an object of the verb. So who created you? You're the one that the verb happened to. This is called damir and nasb. يعني منفصلة النصب. This is when it's in the state that it's meant to take fatha or its equivalent. However, the pronouns are fixed. Their endings never ever change. Their endings never change. We don't say man khalaqa ka ku. No. Ka is for anta, ki is for anti. Okay? And we'll come to see this. So when I'm saying me, you know we learnt yeah is added to say mine. Okay? But when it's an object of the verb, when I'm the object of an action, I have to place noon between the last letter of the verb and the ya that represents me. So khalaqani Allahu. Allah created me. Khalaqa, created. Who created? Allah is the one who done the action. Lafdul jalala. Allah is the one who done the action. That noon is called noon al-waqaya. It separates the attached pronoun, which is the object in this sentence, from the verb. So khalaqani. Khalaqani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we look at the next page, inshallah, we're going to see again more examples of you using this language feature, inshallah. So here, man darabak, man sa'alaka hadha as-su'ala, ara'aka al-mudarrisu fil masjid. Now this is, they just said ra'a anta ra'ayta. Okay, so ra'a is the verb to see. So ara'aka al-mudarrisu, did the teacher see you? Okay, so you're going to still say ra'a is still going to be how it is done, but when you're adding a pronoun, you make it a standing alif and not the short alif, inshallah. Then it says ta'ammal al-kalimat al-atiyah, ponder over the following word. Ma'na, which means meaning. Ma'nahu, ma'naha. What is emphasizing here? The change of when I attach a pronoun after it. Obviously, alif doesn't join to the next letter. But when there's a pronoun after it, that is the possessive construction, it has to become a standing alif and it's no longer the short alif that looks like yeah. Okay? Then now look at these words. Ta'ammal al-kalimat al-atiyah. Ponder over the following words. This is when we delete the alif from ma of the question. So min plus ma equals mimma. Bi plus ma equals bima. Li plus ma equals lima. An plus ma equals amma. So mimma is from what, bima with what, lima why, and an plus ma amma is about what. Okay, so now this is just for you to know, when we are writing these down, we delete the alif from the ma, we don't need it. And examples in the Quran, amma yatasa'alun. We don't say amma, we say amma yatasa'alun. Then here, number 13. تأمل المثال ثم اكتب الجمل الآتية بعد تحويل الكلمات التي تحتها خط إلى الجموع. So it says, ponder over the following example and then write the following sentences after changing the word and that has a line underneath it to plural. So man al-fata الذي خرج من الفصل الآن. من الفتية الذين خرجوا من الفصل الآن. الفتاة, young man. الفتية, young men. This is the plural of al-fata. So you're going to apply this same rule. If I change this word, I have to also change the connecting noun. الذي becomes الذين. And الرجل, الطالب, الولد, you're going to do the same for these sentences, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, now that's for masculine. Then we have immediately after it feminine. الطالبة التي دخلت الفصل الآن من الهند. So again, you're going to change it now to feminine. So the feminine plural of التي is اللاتي. اللاتي. Or we can say اللائي. But for now, it's only taught you اللاتي as is demonstrated here. So just use that one, inshallah. Okay, then this is a summary of those connecting nouns, which is الذي, and it means who or that which if you're talking about an object, but a person, who. Okay, من الفتى الذي دخل الفصل الآن. Who's the young man? Okay, which young man? The one who entered the classroom now, who just entered the classroom. Okay, that's singular, mufrad. الجمع الذين. Mufrad feminine التي. Plural feminine اللاتي. Okay, so this is just, we've learned this before, but then this is just revisiting it again as a reminder, inshallah ta'ala, and using of the plural form. Then it says, number 15, كون جملا 15 كون جملا مستعملا الكلمات الآتية. Make sentences using the following words. Make some sentences using the following words. For example, in this we had رفع محمد يده. Muhammad raised his hand, something like this. Okay. Then we have kalimat al-jadida, your new words. Always upon you to learn your new words. It's always upon you to learn your new words. So again, this is a summary of, this is the things that we study in lesson 9. The key thing that I'm always going to emphasize, make sure you don't leave these lessons without being well acquainted with the vocab. Now, just as a reminder, because some people are like, oh, how do I learn vocab? Learning vocab is the hardest part of studying the Arabic language. I'm sick and tired of learning vocab. Oh, the vocab doesn't stick, and you know. Well, this is what you need to do. You need to get that vocab bank, and don't sit and be like, okay, lesson 9. Akbahu, most ugly. Ajmalu, most beautiful. Not like that. Just read it. Read it again and again and again and again without physically trying to memorize it. Just read it. Be well acquainted with it. Have a good relationship with the vocab. Always read it again and again and again. That way, when you actually see it, you'll be like, I know what that means. Because I didn't commit it to memory robotically, but I read it so much times, I'm familiar with it. So when I actually see it, I'm not like, oh, what does that word mean again? Because I've seen it so much times, I can kind of guess. And most times when you guess in those situations, you're going to be correct. Why? Because you're well acquainted with the words. So always do this, inshallah ta'ala. So inshallah, I'll see you guys next lesson. Any questions, just message me and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.